still recall that picture of me standing at the top of the stairs and walking down into like the most beautiful forest, kind of like Avatar. Hey y'all, Lori Michelle here with Choosing to Shine Reflections. This is the deep conversation game that gets to the heart of who you are. And today's game player and podcast host is my friend Monica. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you, Lori. Thank you so much for thinking of me and inviting me today to your podcast.
Yeah. So just to give the viewers the kind of the way it's going to work, we do all of our status-based questions at the second half of the podcast. So the first half is you answering deep reflection questions, and then we'll just kind of have a conversation, woman to woman, sister to sister. And if anybody wants to play along at home, go ahead and grab a pen and a journal, and you can answer these questions yourself. I also post these on my Instagram page. Let me add in this other. There we go. So you can see the questions. All right. I'll give them a shuffle because nothing's rehearsed.
Quiz time.
Nothing's scripted. We're live and wild here. Oh, let me light my candle real quick. I like to light a candle. It just sets an
The tone.
Of deep connection and community.
That is actually my element, fire.
Oh, mine too, through deep conversations. There we go. All right, so let's see here. So I'll read the question, and then also, Monica, and for those at home, the game changers are Wild Heart, which means you can change it to whatever you want. A flip, there's 2 questions on each card, and I'll read both of them. Block means you don't want to answer that one, and I'll move on to another question. Or defer, if you think you want to answer a question, but maybe you can't think of a story right now, we'll just hold it to the end.
Okay.
All right. So the first question is, what do you value in a friendship? Or what makes you a good friend? Which one would you like to answer?
What do I value? I value honesty.
Okay, honesty.
That's what I value, yeah. And obviously, I reciprocate that honesty with my friends, because friends are there to support you, and likewise to me, for them to be a supportive person. So honesty is the foundation for a friendship for me.
Me too. That's my number one thing. I just don't feel like there can be a true relationship without honesty. It just doesn't. No. For me, it doesn't make any sense.
No, doesn't resonate.
Yeah, right. Exactly. All right. So the next question is, tell a story about something funny that someone did and what made it humorous.
I have a story.
Oh, you do? Okay, go ahead.
I remember one time when my husband and I went to a conference, and it had to do with different types of honey and tastes. So there were so many people testing. They were kind of like 5 different types of honey for health benefits. So they were testing. This is the plastic spoon, and they were putting it aside. But then we didn't know. And in one side, there were the clean spoons. And next to, they were the dirty spoons. And we were a doctor, my husband and myself. And we were like, testing. And all of a sudden, I noticed one of the spoons had a lipstick on it. And I was like, oh, my God. And we were laughing out of embarrassment, out of, we felt because again, a doctor MD was next to us doing exactly the same. She was so ashamed. We were laughing, embarrassed, and we were like, "Oh my god, what else
Oh,
can you do but laugh?"
that's hilarious. Oh my God. The
Yeah, no.
germaphobe in me is just like
Exactly,
cringing, but it's
exactly,
so funny too.
exactly. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's funny but not funny. So it's
Right?
depending
It's funny
on
but
the
not
side
funny.
where you want to look at it. But I always, always, I'll never forget that experience. I never.
Oh my
And another one
goodness.
on the same token, on the same side. I was in Walmart and I remember that I was drinking water, and then I put my water on the counter, but then somebody else in front of me was drinking water. This person didn't have no teeth. It looked so raggedy. And all of a sudden, without me realizing, I grabbed the bottle, his bottle.
So it's happened more than once. Keep my eye on you, Monica, when we go out.
So, oh my God, I was like, seriously? So again, for me, now looking back, it's funny, because what else can you do? For me, so, like you say, the germophobic, so
Oh my gosh, that's funny. All right. Tell us about an amazing adventure that you've been on, or tell us about an amazing adventure that you're dreaming about.
no, the one that I'm going through is my job. I am a clinical hypnotherapist. So everything I do and every single client that I see is an adventure. So for me, because it's like the Forest Gump, you never know where you're gonna get. So every
Yeah,
client and every session of each individual is completely unique. So that's
right.
quite of an adventure.
Yeah. So, um, usually we talk about what we do at the end, but since we're on that topic, I will say that I have had treatment with Monica, and that is true. You do go on a very beautiful and relaxing adventure. And yeah, whenever I'm stressed, I still recall that picture of me standing at the top of the stairs and
Hmm.
walking down into like the most beautiful forest, kind of like Avatar, like
Yes.
everything was sparkly and glowing, and
Mhm.
the flowers and the water and the trickle of the water. And oh my God,
Mhm.
it's, yeah,
Your place, the
definitely.
one that you created and the one that you saw. And that's the connected place that you go to when you need to
Yeah.
relax. And that's amazing. Hmm.
Yeah, we'll talk about more of that at the end because I would love to
Absolutely.
share with people how great that was for me too. All right. If you were invisible for a day, how would you spend it?
Observing, I actually had a few out of the body experiences. So
Mhm.
that means that I am invisible. I notice that as I go to the places, I notice the only ones who can perceive me, I cannot precise if they see me, but perceive me. Animals, they see me or perceive me,
Oh.
and kids, they do. So what I've done in those experiences is observe, just being curious, kind of, because
Uh-huh.
you are in a different stage. So curiosity is what comes to mind. So
Yeah.
you go observe, you go places, and you are not bounded by the physical body. So that's, you know, that's what I do.
Very cool. I've had a few out of body experiences, but I didn't like try to make it happen. It was just one of those things, and I didn't go very
Spontaneous.
far. It was just like I was taking a nap or something, and I could see myself
Mm-hmm.
sleeping.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure that's kind of like a muscle, like something that you could learn more to do.
Absolutely, because
Yeah.
again, I am as like you. I don't do it at will yet, but that doesn't
Mhm.
mean like you say you can train it. So it's
Yeah.
important to know. But I've done it a few times, so every time it's a learning experience. So I know what I can do, and the next step, you go further.
Yeah. Very cool. I like that. All right. Let's see what else we got here. How do you process making a hard decision Or when faced with two paths, do you lead with your head or your heart?
There are no hard decisions. There are decisions, period. So the
Hmm.
only thing is you evaluate, what good comes from path A or path B. And if you notice path A is more in tune with what you are and what you want the outcome to be, go
Hmm.
with it, or vice versa. So once you go, obviously you need to face the consequences, either good or bad consequences, but be accountable. That's it. Because the more you doubt about a decision, the worse it's going to be for you. Because that creates more doubt, that creates more insecurity, that is a waste of time, that is a waste of energy, and it's a waste of opportunity. So
Hmm.
follow your path, follow your guidance, follow your instinct and your intuition. So
Hmm.
for me, decision making is never a problem, never, because you know I know that whether A or B path I go with, I am
Hmm.
okay, and it's my decision at the end of the day.
Okay. Are you more of a mental like thinker, or do you like to write things down like pros
I
and
balance.
cons?
I
Or
balance in the sense that I am instinctive, but I am analytical too.
okay.
So I combine them both. So I balance them both. We have mind, emotion, body, and spirit. So I try
Hmm.
to combine everything holistically, so I
Hmm.
see the entire picture. But that is a process that I have kind of like mastered, because that's how I live. So
Hmm.
that's why I don't doubt twice, because I know the decision I make is going to bring something in the future. And every path has something good or something bad, and that depends on how you look at it, which side you want to look at it, and which um, opportunities come out of that process, because every decision has in the future, the outcome has opportunities or no, but it's for you to
Hmm.
be okay with it.
I love that. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
All right, let's do one more. Let me shuffle them up a little bit. Let's see if we can get you something. Let's see here. What is a physical scar that tells a deeper story about you? Or what is an emotional scar that tells a deeper story about you?
Physical scar. I have one scar on my knee that I remember I was maybe 7 years old, and I cut my knee with a glass. So
Ooh.
I didn't tell my mom at the time. I was I know, so little, but at the same time, so mature in a way. And I remember that I grabbed a band-aid and I closed this scar and I tape it so well and I clean it myself because that scar was for stitches. Nowadays I see it and it was to be, like 5 stitches or so. It was a big one. But
Oh,
I was able to hide it and my mom noticed it. I know. My mom noticed it maybe 3 days or so after. So,
yeah.
nothing could be done at the time. But uh, when I go back in time, I was, I was very mature in a way to do that stuff. So
Hmm.
because the thought of stitches in my mind at that age, they were,
Yeah.
unbearable. So I was like, no, 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 no.
Yeah, I have a very similar story as well. And I don't remember how I cut my finger, but I have a really bad scar. Um, but I remember, I think I was about 8, maybe, but I could see, like, I could see my bone.
Bone.
But
Mm-hmm.
I just remember wrapping it up and like going,
Uh huh. Uh huh.
and
Uh
then
huh.
my mom was like, what happened? And I don't even remember. I just remember I was so freaked out. I'm like, it's fine. You don't need to look. She
And
always
here we
wanted,
are.
right? She always wanted to put that, what was that?
Iodine.
Yes, the iodine. It burned so bad. I didn't want any part of that.
We had maybe the same experience. Yeah, no. And nothing happened. We are here alive without any problem.
Yeah. All right. So we've already kind of, oh, I think this is interesting. So all my cards are hand painted and I have like pinks and greens. and oranges. There's like all different colors in here.
Mm-hmm.
These are my
Nice.
originals, so they're all different colors.
Beautiful.
But look at all your questions. They're all pink except for one orange one.
No.
I'm gonna show the camera.
Pink
This is
questions. Nice.
isn't that funny? That
Uh-huh.
so the episode that probably by the time yours airs, it'll be two episodes. Maybe no, the one before you. The I interviewed my friend that lives in Romania, and she got all orange. And
Wow.
I like shuffle these every time I pick a question.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I find that very interesting. And they're
Absolutely. That is a
yeah,
pattern.
and they're gemstone paints. So I wonder if that means something. I'm gonna look up what
Mm-hmm.
color that is, and I'll let you
Yes.
know. All right. Well, that was fun. So go ahead and tell us about your practice. And we've already kind of talked about, and I talked about my experience, but I'll go a little more into that. But tell us about hypnotherapy. What's it used for? How
Yes.
long have you been
So
doing
hypnotherapy, I am a clinical hypnotherapist. I have my practice here in Lutz. That's the place that you have been, I believe.
Florida?
Um, yeah, Florida.
Mhm.
So I have been practicing for since 2013. I opened my practice. And hypnosis pretty much is where I guide people into a deep state of relaxation where people
Mhm.
can open their subconscious mind. And the
Mhm.
subconscious mind is where they have everything that happened to them, the good, the bad, the beautiful, the ugly, everything is stored in there. So usually people come to me, to my practice, because they are feeling anxious, because they are feeling sad, because they are feeling, many, many feelings. Um, Lost, confusion. So when we start going back to the root cause, the emotional root cause of their problem, we go back usually to childhood because the mind gets programmed from 0 to 7 years old. And
Mhm.
usually those programs are negative. We see our parents fighting, we see them divorcing, we see a lot of judgment, shame,
Mhm.
and there is a lot of sadness, there is a lot of confusion, many, many negative emotions. And all of a sudden we start growing and start moving our lives based on those feelings and those emotions and those programs. So that's where the loop cycle begins. So we start, let's say I feel ashamed, so it's low self-esteem. So I start living my life based on low self-esteem. So when I go to school, obviously kids picked up my weakness and they start being bullies to me, and I start deepening that wound. So
Mhm.
that's what I do, because again, as we keep growing, you can be 50 years old, but at the same time you are this little kid wounded. So
Yeah.
this is the you fragment yourself. So you go 5 years old, something happened. 2 years old, something happened. 7 years old, something happened. 9 years, 13, 15. And then
Mhm.
you keep fragmenting and you have all that pain, those layers of pain on top of layers. So that's what I do. Go back and start helping people to remove and remember who they truly are. Because that's the problem. We have been programmed and we are the consequence of a program. So when you start removing that the program that doesn't belong to you, you remember who you truly are and the reason why you came here to this world, and you start
Mhm.
finding your purpose. That's the people, that's number one question of people: what's my purpose? Well, you know it, but you haven't been able to see it because it's buried deep down in that trauma, in the pain, in the suffering.
Yeah. Yeah, so I want to kind of back up and tell the whole story of how we met, and then I'm going to talk about my experience with that therapy. Um, so Monica called me. So let me state this first. I was working at an event venue, and I had those calls come in on my regular cell phone because I worked virtually if I didn't have to be there for an event. There was someone in the neighborhood that was selling some furniture that I wanted, but then when I reached out to her, she said she had already sold it. I think it was only like 2 or 3 days later, you called me, but it was on my work phone. And you were like, I'm calling about the furniture. So in my mind, I'm thinking furniture for event center. I'm like, so there was some confusion there. And I was like, oh, you're calling about the living room furniture.
Uh-huh.
And it was too big for your place. So I grabbed a friend. We came over and I met you. And your mom, I think, was there too. And just really good vibes. I just kind of connected with you immediately. And when I say neighbors, like she's only like a couple minutes away from me.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward a couple years, and we went to this house that the man was growing hydroponic vegetables, and Monica has an amazing garden, and she actually grows all her own teas, and some of the best tea I've ever had. I think I drank like 6 cups of it
Thank you.
there one
I
time.
know. The herbal tea. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's in this? She's like, I don't know. It's different every day.
Mm-hmm.
It was so good, so fresh. But we were at this guy's house, and he started saying like, oh, you need this mix and this mix, and I started getting very overwhelmed. And I had also previously told you that I did not have a green thumb. I couldn't grow anything. And so we were there, and I just kind of walked away, and I started talking to his wife, and I was like, I'm here to talk about the garden, but I couldn't focus. Like, it was stressing me out. And then I'm like, I don't know. Like, I'm just like, that whole thing overwhelmed me. And I went home and I really sat with that, like, what was going on. And it popped in my head that I was jealous of the plants.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
Yeah, I
like,
remember that you mentioned something. Yeah.
how can I be jealous of plants? Like, that makes absolutely no sense.
Mm.
And then so I journaled about it. I thought about it, meditated on it a little more. And my mom was a really, really good plant person. Like, there was plants in every room. And I realized that as a child, I had been jealous of the attention she gave to her plants. She talked to her plants. She sang to her plants. Her plants were everything. And I was like, wow, like, we can go through, like you said, 50 years of life and never pick up on something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Why do I think that I'm bad at growing stuff? You know what I mean? Like, there was actually something there. So I started going to Monica for therapy, hypnosis therapy, and really healed like a lot of things, going back and hugging, your little self, and then going back and talking to generations of hurt, right? Healing that generational DNA that's passed down, basically. And it was, I have to say, my mom passed away this last November. And because I went through that with you and I had healed those wounds, there wasn't any regrets when she passed, which was very important. Like, obviously it hurt, and I wish that I would have done that 20 years ago, but I just didn't know that
Exactly.
that it was there. So
Mm-hmm.
that was a very important process for me to go through. And yeah, I think if anybody, I will definitely link your information, because you take virtual appointments.
I do. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I did come in person because, like I said, we're right down the street. But yeah, just, it was kind of mind blowing, and it was kind of hard to explain too. When I came home and like was talking to my daughter about it, and I was like, I don't know, it was like the most beautiful, peaceful experience. Like I woke up from the greatest nap I'd ever had and I had healed things. So
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, see, like you say, things that you didn't know you have.
yeah,
So, and I bet your green thumb came back because green thumb, when you don't have that green thumb, is you are disconnected from your own self because you are
yeah,
part of nature. So that's something when people say, I don't have green thumb. Yes, you do. You are
yeah,
disconnected from your own self. So when you
yeah. My
start
whole
digging within, then you're gonna start to connect to everything around, but first to yourself.
yeah, it's true. My whole front porch was full of plants now, so
Exactly.
I just
Plants
got
that are producing, huh?
I gotta move into that vegetable area. I'm just growing like regular plants right now.
Uh-huh. But you're growing. Look at how, your energy shifted and your mindset and everything around shifts. So, it's that beautiful connection that you're having
Yeah.
with your own self and the world, because what you feel, you give. And
Hmm.
it's a wave effect. You are giving everything to everyone. So that's why it's such a huge responsibility to be human, and
Hmm.
more than that is to know who you truly are, because we are like the tuning forks. So you ding the tuning fork, and when you have the same frequency, so this
Hmm.
one, without touching it, is going to be resonating. So it's like humans, we are humans, and I am resonating to certain frequency. So the way I feel, the way I resonate, is going to be affecting another person, and not less than 10 people every morning, every day, family members, co-workers, people that you don't even realize that are next to you. So that's
Yeah.
why being around selves and it's a huge responsibility, to be um, exercising health care, emotional care,
Hmm.
spiritual care. So all
Yeah.
that, those holistically seeing ourselves for who we truly are, is very important, and respecting ourselves.
Yeah. That's what this channel is all about is self-love and all those
Mhm.
things you listed. They're all under self-love. So, yep,
Exactly. Very
that's
important.
that's what we're all about here. So I like to ask each guest if someone asked you what does choosing to shine mean, how would you explain it?
Be myself. Just be
Mhm.
myself. Is each one of us we have light. We are our huge spark, and then it's our responsibility to make it grow.
Yeah,
So so we are light. So everywhere I go, everywhere you go, everywhere people go, it's the human network where your light connects with mine and vice versa, and we keep growing like a
right.
huge organism, full of light, full of energy, full of love and compassion, and that's the idea of giving that energy to others
I love
as
that.
we give it to ourselves.
Mhm. Well, thank you for sharing that. Did any of your answers surprise you, or did you think about something that you haven't thought about in a long time?
No, 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 because the deeper I work, I meditate every day. So the deeper I
Hmm.
work within, the more I know myself, not only to this physical level, the present moment, but going
Hmm.
back, previous lives, my feelings, my everything, my holistic self.
Yeah.
So every day it's a learning path, my own, learning on my own, learning about
Hmm.
myself and expressing myself. So I've
Hmm.
noticed that I'm more authentic, if you will, because I feel that I am more connected and more my true self. So there is no pretending, there is no reason for.
Hmm. Absolutely. I love that for you. All right. So, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you send your information to me, and I'll post that in the comments and in the description. I know that people are going to be really interested in finding out more about that. And if they have any questions about someone who's been through it, feel free to DM me, and I will answer any questions, and I give Monica all the stars I can give her because it was, like I said, it was very healing for me and came at the right time before my mom passed. So that was really great to have figured all that out, you know,
Mhm,
like I said,
mhm.
and have no regrets.
Thank you so much
Well,
too
thank
for
you so
allowing me,
much. Thank
for
you so much.
inviting me.
Yeah, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us. And as always, we want to wish everyone who's watching love to all.
Lots of light and shine.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Bye bye.